Hello guys, welcome back to Mountain Buses. This video is a little bit different. I have got a little bit of a story slash it's sort of like a slagging off as well. But good with that. Now, Mountain Buses, must have been about 2 years ago we started getting fuel cards. We had Fuel Genie. We swapped that out for a more popular card, being All Star, and that's what this video is about, All Star. Now, before people point out some of it is our fault and we should have monitored it closely, just want to put that out there, but the way All Star have dealt with it is the point, and what has actually led to us cancelling our account with them. So, the bit of the backstory. Fuel cards tend to have a monthly charge to keep the card going, which is not a problem. Fuel Genie was quite expensive, if I remember rightly. There was some reason why we switched from Fuel Genie. I think one of the main ones was it was only valid in certain places, where All Star was more accepted everywhere. So when we opened our All Star account, it was the pretty usual stuff, and they give you a credit limit. Our credit limit was £400 for the month, which is plenty. Even if we were going to shows every month, every week of a month, it'd be plenty. And that was like brilliant. So everything was there, we used it, and the original cost, which is why we actually swapped, one of the reasons we chose All Star, was only £1.50 a month. And for £1.50 a month, the months we didn't use it, we'd make back in the savings when we do use it. Because you see, a fuel card, you pay for however much the fuel is on the forecourt on the day. So let's say it's £1.35 on the forecourt. So you put in what fuel you want, you pay with your fuel card, and then when they generate your bill, you actually get a special rate on the fuel. So when we're putting in 100 odd quid of fuel, we was only actually paying for £87 in the final amount. So we'd make all the money back that we spent putting out in the months prior. So it was worth it, because essentially we'd be saving money once we paid back the amounts that we've spent on the upkeep, or on the weeks we've not used it. Months we've not used it, should I say. So that was all fine and dandy. It was set up direct debit, it'd go out. You know, didn't pay much attention to it because it just went out. We didn't pay much attention to it last month when all this started. So last month the money was in the account for the thing, £1.50, at least £1.50 in it. But they tried taking £12.53, so it bounced, because obviously, as I've explained and as you've seen on Facebook and that, pockets are very tight at the moment. So it bounced. Bearing in mind, the start of the month, there's never much money in the account, because my part goes in middle of the month, Sean goes in at the end of the month, so does Stefford, and then a lot of our donations and memberships and all that end at the end of the month. So once we've paid for everything, everything's sort of split out, so it's a constant stream of money that we can afford, basically. So it bounced. Now with Zempler Bank, which is who we're with, there's a £15 charge for a direct debit that bounces. Fair enough. You know. a little bit closer attention to it when the invoice landed in the email, which is, like I say, that's fair enough, you know. Own up to that mistake, should have read the invoice. But then when I go back, they've been charging £12.53 for a while. So I write them an email, because you can't call these people. It's like talking, you can get through to someone, then it's, oh no, it's this department, oh no, it's that department. You end up just pulling your hair out on the phone. So I sent them an email requesting the account to be closed, and they'll get their £12.53. And that's it. But All-Star also charge you £95 for a bounced direct debit, regardless of if you pay it the same day, as we've had before now. Before now we've had a problem with the bank, and the money was there. We could send them the screenshot, the money was there, but it bounced their direct debit, and we just sent it to them. They still charged us £95 for that. Robbing bastards. So we got £15 charge from the bank, £95 charge from All-Star, plus the £12.53. See how quick that racked up. So after filing for my cancellation of our account with All-Star, got a phone call from, you know, them people that try and make you stay. So I spent, it must have been about 45 minutes on the phone with him, and I explained the problems, and, you know, the fact the bus is off the road at the moment, so we can't justify £12.53. He went, oh, well, this has been added, and this has been added. I went, well, I didn't ask for that. He went, yeah, it was added at such a time. I said, well, I didn't ask for it to be added. I said, it's my fault for not reading the invoices, but as far as I was concerned, I'm still paying £1.50. I said, we didn't ask for anything to be added to the account, nor did we ask for the increase in credit to £2,000. So he was like, well, would you consider staying if I can make that charge back down to the £1.50 a month? I said, yeah. I said, because we can justify that, even if we're not using the card or the vehicle, we can justify £1.50 a month. So off he tip-taps away, and he was like, yeah. I said, so I mentioned to him, I said, we do have the £95 charge on there now, because the direct debit bounced, because we believed we were still only paying £1.50. Again, my fault, should have read the invoice. I said, but so used to it just going out, so we haven't questioned it, because it's a direct debit, the money's normally always there, and it just goes out. So he said, well, they will forget about it, because there's no fuel on the account, so it's just a charge that keeps people to pay their fuel bills. I said, right, okay. So he said, message collections team explaining, and they should wipe it for you. Not a problem. So he sent me an email with, he's changed everything to £1.50, got rid of all the stupid extras that we didn't ask for, and the charge goes back down to £1.50 a month. Result. So I'm quite happy with that. That was until the other day, when the invoice Still waiting to hear from them. Still waiting to hear from collections. I have cancelled the direct debit from the bank, so they can't take the money they want. And I think it's extremely poor companyship to pull that stunt off. We've explained to them, to the guy who rang us, what we're about. Basically, we're non-for-profit. We've had 2 very tough months, because December was tough, and so was January, was even tougher. January we was 20 odd quid down on YouTube, which doesn't sound a lot, but when we only make 60 quid, it's a lot of money. If we made like 102-300 quid on YouTube a month, you know, 20 quid's just a drop in the ocean, but we don't. So I explained it all to him and said, oh, you know, it's tough. He went, oh, it's not a problem. And said that they will cancel the £95 charge. They won't chase it because there's no fuel on the account, and it's been a thing they've done, but yet not bothered to tell us. Yeah, we should have noticed the larger amount going out the bank, especially considering I do the books. But doing the books for me is just making sure everything adds up, because we don't have any complicated stuff happening. It's just to make sure everything adds up, everything's in the categories it needs to be in, and that's it. So I don't tend to look at the amounts badly, but it's something I'm now improving on and have to do. Especially considering we're going to be doing more shop stuff, more store stuff. So I think All Star have been very unfair in this. Yeah, my fault for not looking at the invoice, but I've owned up. They said they've corrected it, which they haven't, and then said they wouldn't pursue the charge to email collections, to which collections haven't even bothered to respond, and then gone ahead and charged it anyway. I've had no communication from collections at all, even when the direct debit bounced. No communications, just an email going, you've not paid your bill, you need to email collections to have your account unfroze. Well, we've emailed collections and no responses, so what's the point in having the email address? So we probably will get another fuel card down the road at some point, but at the moment, All Star, not big in our books. I think the charges are astronomical. We knew that when we took the account out, to be fair, but as I say, the fact that they put the charges up, it's not like interest has gone up, you know, I'm explaining that, you know, this bus takes 250 litres of fuel. 120 litre jerry can is like a paddling pool to it, to that fuel tank. Probably wouldn't even touch the sides. So, but that's nothing, you know. It's not a problem. We can just fill it. We're just going to fill it anyway without the card. But yeah, I think it's a dirty trick that All-Star have pulled, especially with no communication from them. I think that's what's annoyed myself and Sean more about it, is the lack of communication that they've had with us about it. Even just an email going, oh sorry, we can't drop the charge because the direct debit bounced. Okay, fair enough. You know, but to have nothing at all. So when they do eventually ring me, they are going to be told very straight, don't want to be a customer with them anymore. Their bill will get paid when we have the funds available. And that's as simple as that. Because they've gone back on what they said. So therefore that bill should have been a lot smaller than it should have was. It should have been like £100 less than what it should be. So me and Sean are in the mood for them of stuffing. You know, it doesn't matter. You can kiss us goodbye. We're not interested. They want to pull stupid tricks like that and not communicate with the customer, because they didn't even communicate when they upped the credit limit. I only discovered that by chance of logging on. Because that's the thing, when we don't use the card, we never logged on. Because it was £1.50. That was always the invoice. We only logged on to check the invoice amount when we had fuel on the account. So I'll let you know what happens when they do eventually contact me. In the van, 3 business days now from the point when we put the closure in. I think it's 3 business days, maybe more. Not counting weekend, because they don't work weekend. Of course they don't. These people work in an office. Office don't work weekend. So they've had a good couple of days to contact us, and if I don't hear anything in another couple of days, I will be resubmitting another closure, and they're going to have to do something pretty special to keep us, because as far as we're concerned, we can't trust them. We've always paid the bills on time with them. There was only that one hiccup when we first took the card out, and for some reason it was set up correctly, but the bank denied the direct debit, and that took a little bit of work to work out, but we paid it via bank transfer to them, and then we worked with, because at that time it was Cash Plus, and All-Star to find out why it wouldn't go through, and it was some silly little detail why it wouldn't go through, but we got it to go through. So everything's always been paid on time. card in this bill, they ain't getting a penny of it. Well, they might get the £12.53, but they're not getting all of it until they've discussed it with us. Simple as. We've tried reaching out to them, no response. So something has to be sorted, and I'm sure it will in due course. So yeah, All-Star, good card, piss poor communications, absolute piss poor communications, and yeah, that's it pretty much. So I wouldn't say don't use them, but I'd say lessons learned, use them wisely, and definitely check every single invoice that you get with them, because I'm sure I won't be the only customer, or we are not the only customer, because it is in the business's name, that they have done over by adding stuff onto the account that wasn't discussed, wasn't asked for, thus putting the charges up. I am pretty sure we're not the only ones. So yeah, it's good you save money on fuel, but really watch the invoices. That is my lesson learned from this, and that's all I'd say. If you are going to use them, really watch that invoice, and be wary that if you do have a problem, they can be very difficult to get hold of and speak to. You can speak to them on the phone if you can get through to the right person, but then 9 times out of 10 it's need to do it via an email. So, and then you wait weeks for a response off them, when it could have probably been sorted on the phone there and then. It's like when we needed to change our address with them from the old business address to the new business address. I rang them up and got through. It's not a problem. Yeah. And then like, yeah, we can do that for you. And then we went through it all. Right. They changed the address on the account, but then went, oh, you need to email it us as well, so we've got it in writing. And until you've emailed us with the changes, we won't be able to change it. But you've just said it's been done. So which is it? And that's what they're like. So yeah, use them cautiously.